gas accountant, so I mean I have to ask because I don't know if you watch every episode of the channel, but we talk about green energy a lot.
Right. right.
So before we get into the formal interview questions, I have to ask, are you bullish or bearish on oil and gas, let's say in the next 20 years?
Oh man, you're gonna give me 5. So look, I'll say it like this, okay? So being an oil and gas man, I think I have a behind the scenes of a lot of things that are going on in the industry. And I don't think things are changing. And I think we can all see that things are changing. You know, we have Tesla, we have a lot of green energy, we have, you know, hydrocarbon, hydro energy, a lot of things other than, you know, your temporary or your sort of kind of regular oil and gas, right? But a lot of people don't realize oil and gas goes into a lot more things than just, you know, your car. It's like the plastics that you make. There are a lot of things that you create that oil and gas is necessary for. And so do I think it's going to go away in the next year? No. But do I think that things are changing at a drastic pace? Yes. And I feel like as long as they continue to take the cost down, you know, with electricity and then, you know, the green energy, then it might get a little bit more competitive. But as for now, I'm an oil and gas man, so I think that it's going to be around for a lot longer.
Yeah, I mean, I've had conversations with people in the industry, and basically they're saying, well, how are you going to power the renewable energies or your electric vehicles without oil and gas? You see what I'm saying? Like, you can't really do solar power because it takes so long to power up the car or takes so long to power up the house. Exactly. So you can't just go away from oil and gas all the way. Is that kind of correct?
And that's what I agree with. So and that's what I'm sort of kind of saying. It's like, I think with innovation, you really just never know. You know, I think with this year, things have changed drastically, or in the past year, that a lot of these companies that we didn't think would, you know, sort of kind of make monumental steps, sort of kind of, you know, made drastic steps in very short periods of time. But I still think that oil and gas is an essential to what's going around, not just in the U.S., but around the world. And that's what I think that people have to realize, what's going on in the world more so than just what's going on in the United States, because we're such a small part of what happens in the entire economy. Now, we're a big piece as far as GDP and as far as what we bring to the table in the world. But there are other countries, for instance, Russia, that literally have to pump oil and gas for cash flow. So there are other different economical factors that you know, sort of kind of go into the use of oil and gas, to where I don't think it's going to stop, you know, tomorrow. But I think that, you know, with renewable energy, that there's another player in the game.
Oh, for sure. You know, I'm no expert in this field. I just from what I know, just kind of being more of an international type of individual, I can say this. You know, oil and gas plays a big role in the, you know, electrical grid. And I know that, you know, there's big areas of places abroad, like let's say Africa, who don't have a fully fleshed out electrical grid. And it just probably makes more sense for them to start off with their, like, one of their most abundant resources they have in Africa, which is oil, right, in Nigeria. So to me, you know, I can see where the U.S. may be moving at a certain pace because we're moving from a place of abundance where we can maybe try to move away from oil and gas. But I think in other areas of the world, I think that's going to be a very slow move, because what's going to happen is if the more advanced countries start to go over to renewable energy, then those companies who benefit are going to take their innovation and technology to these other countries who may be a little behind, and then they'll start using that technology, you know, in their, you know, electrical grid in their vehicles or whatever, right? So there's new economies being built up every day, because at the end of the day, people want to make money. And all the countries that have a low GDP, unfortunately, foreign interests are going to try to go and get a piece of that and increase their GDP so they can make more profits. So as you see with most companies, they're global now, Apple, even Tesla, you know what I'm saying? So for that reason, I say oil and gas is not going to die overnight, at least not in my lifetime. I think, you know, any, let's say, chemical engineer major will be fine that's coming out of like my age group. But
you think so?
Yeah, I think they'll be fine.
I don't know, man. I feel like the play right now, I would get into EV, or I would definitely get into coding.
Yeah, but I'm on the other side of 30.
I'm bearish.
I'm on the other side of 30. So that's why I'm like, I think they'll be fine.
Well, if you're getting into a a career in oil and gas right now and you're an engineer, I would definitely be trying to look into getting involved in something totally different. Like I said, coding is a big deal right now. Machine learning is a big deal. So definitely get involved with something similar to that. But as far as what's going on in other countries, I feel like they're doing these solar farms. And that's kind of where they're going to start leaning towards. I know they had some in UAE or even in Sweden. So that's where I feel like the plays are going to be.
No, for sure. But again, UAE and Sweden are very advanced countries, and as we know, solar energy as it is today is very inefficient, about 30% efficiency. Okay. So, I mean, I get that, but I'm talking about the countries that aren't as ahead. But man, we're getting really off topic.